We're good with it.
Calling to order the city council meeting of Tuesday, December 9th, 2025. Please call the roll.
Mr. Newell, Ms. Zajac, Ms. Weltman, Ms. Godin. Here. Mr. LeMay.
Here.
Mr. Gentile. Dr. Moore.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome. We're going to begin with the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our first agenda item this evening is the ordinance 2025-23, which is on this evening for second reading. We lacked a quorum at our prior meeting, whereby we do have a quorum tonight, so we can have this officially on for second reading. Unfortunately, because we do not have a fifth member of council present, we cannot suspend the rules council, so we cannot vote on this tonight. Unless there's something else you deem important, we will call it having been on for second reading.
Yeah, are there changes to this exhibit from the last time?
Yes. Do they
Yeah,
have?
they had them at their seat.
Okay.
Can you go through just what
Sure.
they're from your week?
Ready to go
Yes.
to that part, Mr.
Yep.
Okay, do it.
Thank you. So we just had a couple of funds last time where we knew we had talked about them in finance committee that they were not appropriated for at the beginning of the year. This is kind of a cleanup ordinance where we want to make sure that we comply and have all the appropriations needed and necessary. Kind of the issue we have is that we're not done with the year and there's still expenditures that are going on and taking place. And some of the kind of bogeys that are out there is there going to be significant overtime within certain departments. There's some larger payments that go out in terms of personnel in December, and we want to make sure that all those things are covered. So I'll just kind of walk you through what might be a little different this time than last time. I'll start in the original and amended part of the budget. Those are your first three columns on the left-hand side. And if you look at the bottom there, we really want to I switched where you'll see transfer to police pension. I had that in the wrong column last time, so that's 210,000. So I plugged it in there. It doesn't change the overall numbers. That's just the original budget. So it's like a double check I did, and we caught that. And then at the bottom, in terms of the budget for a couple other funds, the rec fund should have been budgeted for 100,000, and the guaranteed deposit fund should have said 60,000. I think I probably plugged in the year-to-date expenses as opposed to the annual budget. So those are things they should just have changed for the better to reflect what we actually budgeted. So that's those columns, and that's for the things we're actually changing. Those are in the middle three columns. So the final three columns just total up the changes. So at the top in the personnel, I added funds for personnel for both police, service, council, finance, and the engineer. Not sure that we'll be over in any or all of those, but I have a feeling that we could or will be. So I budgeted some amounts there upon advice of both Tony and the mayor. They said, let's just make sure that we have enough plugged in there. So I plugged a sufficient amount of budget such that we'll definitely cover ourselves.
So you're anticipating a little bit, we might have a little overage that comes in yet in the next 3 weeks, so you have it covered, you think?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the parentheses in the other operations, is that a credit?
Right, so that's a negative. So like in council there, you'll see that I just moved money from the other operations over to personnel. We didn't quite have enough budgeted there. Same thing with the engineer. There's $2,000 where it's one of those things where I thought maybe we'd make it at the end of the year, but I just wanted to be sure, so I moved a couple thousand over. County auditor's deductions, I subtracted out 14,000 because I know that's done for the year. And I plugged it in basically a couple of places, one in the building department where they had some new software in 2025 that they purchased, and also in the fire pension fund below. So that just reallocated out that amount. And then, there's a couple other funds I was just concerned about, the fire levy fund and, let's see, what else in the street fund with some other operations there.
Peter, did we make a transfer to the police pension fund every year? That's just to top that up. That's normal practice. I just can't remember from.
So if you look at the top there in the left-hand side, and the other operations, third, 1, 2, 3, 4th line from the bottom, we do transfer money to the police pension fund every year because the property tax doesn't quite cover it all. But in this case, we're just concerned about having enough appropriation to is the secondary issue. So we went ahead and, added a few thousand more. It might not be as much as I have down there that we need, but again, I just wanted to make sure that we had enough, and I wouldn't have to do this again before the 31st, but I think I'm gonna have to anyway. But,
Well, I guess we're gonna have another meeting.
We're gonna have to have another meeting. As I'm sitting here, and I'm thinking about not paying strict attention to Mr. Arcantor, but I'm thinking other things too. We have, the next time we gather, it will be the 3rd reading for this and the next.
Right.
So we just need this quorum of 4. Are you going to be gone, Dr. Long? When do you leave town?
We should.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
yeah.
Will you be here if I had a meeting within the next couple of days? Do we think we could have
Thursdays
a
are
quorum,
best.
without addressing it to Dr.
I
Wong
can't do
individually?
Thursday.
Do we think we
because
could have a quorum?
I'm
Thursdays
operating
are-
very late on Thursday already, until about 7:30. So, I could maybe do next week, but
I'm not available on Thursday either.
What about an
everyone
early in
right,
the morning thing? We don't have to do it at night. We can do it at any time of the day council can gather.
I'm good anytime. I'll make
You're a very
myself
flexible guy.
Yeah, I'm retired.
You're known for being a very flexible guy.
I
The retired guy.
could, but I
You're
have
right.
surgery and patients, from 8 until about 6 or 7.
I'm typically unavailable during the day.
But maybe offline, we can find out what your availability is if you're.
Yeah, we can do
Yeah,
it
I
off,
have-
Jackie, you're working all day.
I mean, I can do tomorrow, probably.
but we have to send out notice of a meeting.
Special meeting.
How long in advance?
Yes.
24
How long
hours,
is it? Is it 24 hours?
24 hours.
unless we make it later at night.
You could also adjourn this meeting to a specific time and not worry about the notice because it's a continuation of the existing meeting.
Would that,
We've done
could we
that
do a 3rd reading in that context?
Yes, the 3 reading rule covers 3 different calendar days. So you could wait till midnight tonight and at 12:01 adopt the ordinance in another.
I wanna go.
Hey, it's a
As a theoretical possibility, I'm not
Yeah.
suggesting.
Say that again?
It's 3 different days. So if you adjourn the meeting, now and start it again at, 12:01 tomorrow,
Or thereafter, right?
3 days, not 3 meetings.
it's 3 readings on 3 different days. So
You
the
can have
third,
2 readings in 1 meeting?
you could have 3 readings on a meeting that spans 2 days.
So we
I'm
wouldn't
still not,
adjourn
I'm
this
still not
meeting?
following.
We wouldn't adjourn this meeting, we would just,
You could adjourn this meeting to another day, whatever, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, today's Tuesday.
But we'd have to notice the special meeting then.
It would not be a special.
It would be a special
Oh,
meeting.
it would just be adjourned and.
It'd be an adjourned regular meeting.
But on a separate calendar day, Mr. Byron is explaining that would constitute a
Right.
3rd reading
Yes.
opportunity. So that's great.
It's 3 readings is 3 calendar days, not 3 meetings.
That's
I
interesting.
didn't realize that.
So,
Did you know that?
do you wanna try tomorrow?
I'm gonna ask ChatGPT.
He probably knows a lot of stuff he's never shared.
Yeah.
I mean, if you wanna try for, Monday later, around 7:30.
Does tomorrow- Does
But
tomorrow
that's the
night
first
work
day
for anyone?
That's the first day of Hanukkah though.
Well, I was gonna say, I don't even know what my own calendar is.
Oh.
Does tomorrow night work for anyone?
Wednesday?
Wednesday.
I'm available.
Why should we?
I have another meeting till 8 that night, so it'd have to be late.
What about before your meeting?
After, be in the afternoon though, so
Oh,
that doesn't
no.
work for working people.
How's Monday working? Any hands for
Work.
Monday?
And Thursday, we already said didn't work.
Thursday's so good.
And Friday doesn't work?
No.
Monday's good?
Monday's good
Kathy,
for me.
Monday's good with you?
Yeah, let me just check my.
Okay.
What'd you say, Monday's good for you?
They can't do Monday morning.
How about Monday at 7:30?
In the morning or
PM,
in the evening?
Yes.
Either one.
I think so.
The first night of Hanukkah though.
Is that,
I'm okay.
you're okay?
I have another council meeting that evening, but I don't think you need legal counsel there.
I could,
No,
No.
no offense, but I think,
Yeah.
Monday?
Let's go for that.
go for
7:30
Monday,
on
reconvene on Monday?
Can we do it earlier than 7:30?
What's
yeah,
the
I
earliest?
mean, if we're gonna have a short meeting, I mean, just come right after work.
What's the
What,
earliest you
what
can?
time do you think would be good?
Maybe around 6:30, 6:30, probably 6:30.
I would
Let's
call
go.
it 6:30, sorry.
6:30 Monday, reconvene.
Or we could have a new meeting that day.
You could.
Yeah, we could.
Yeah,
Either
right.
way.
So
So
early,
early,
right?
right?
You want to adjourn this meeting or call a special meeting, either way.
Okay, so 6:30 Monday, let's call it a special just to be on the safe side. Not that I don't trust you. Instead of trying to
I don't
explain
trust
it
you,
over. Special meeting Monday, 6:30, that's gonna be
So,
the 15th.
can I get a promise on you? You will be no more than 15 minutes.
So long as, that's all we
Everyone
have to,
does their,
as long as everyone does their part.
It'll just be those two.
I don't,
Just put those two things first.
Well, that's all there'll be, right?
that's all there would be.
well, now there's gonna be maybe another. No, it's
And the
not
other,
right.
everything on the agenda,
Everything on the agenda is gonna be on there.
but you
Not if we notice
discuss
a
it.
special meeting, right?
No. Well, no, it's not gonna be,
If you
the
notice a
things that are
special meeting,
first
put everything
reading,
on
the
the
things that are on for first reading, we would need to suspend, so we need 5 people to do that. So the things that are on for third reading, we'll be able to take care of.
Just 2 and 3.
Yes. And possibly 25 and 26,
Well, if we have a fifth.
if we have a quorum, yeah, if we have enough. If we don't, third reading.
Okay, all right. So back to, I totally whacked your explanation. You have anything more on Exhibit A?
I think I got through everything I wanted to get through talking about, and if anybody has any questions, I can certainly answer those.
I'd just like to make a comment, and I thank Peter for doing this. There's no requirement that the appropriation be equal to the spending. It just has to be more. So if you have a small cushion, you're fine. So this idea of having to meet on the last day of the year was not a good use of time, nor the ability we have to you have to appropriate at least as much as you spend. So a little cushion is fine. You don't have to have the exact same amount.
Well, that was a conversation that I had with Mr. Racator, and he agreed that we can proceed this way. He was right.
100%.
Good. So we will, other than that, I guess we will move on and declare this having been the second reading of ordinance 23. We'll move on to ordinance 24, the appropriations ordinance for this year, and declare this the second reading of that. Is there anything more about that, Council? All right, we'll move on then to the first reading of ordinance 2025-25, which is the reappointment of our valued engineer, Mr. Sheedy. Is there anything council has about that? We can't vote on it tonight, unfortunately.
Any change in the rates, Don?
They're up a bit. It's about
4-ish, 5-ish%.
Kind of across the board, pretty much.
Yeah, probably for us as a business, you don't really, I'd love to tell our insurance carrier for medical to only cap it at 4, but that doesn't happen, so, but we really try to be competitive, and there's no big increase.
And on the budget, the line item for engineer, is that like everything we pay to Chagrin Valley Engineering is on? Like the line item on last year's budget?
The other,
No, not necessarily. So the personnel services, yes, the other operations, it goes to the firm, but,
Right.
kind of twofold there. And there might be some other expenses in there. I'd have to take a closer look at what's in there, but predominantly, that's where that's going.
Okay.
well, it also gets paid out of the capital fund. The firm does.
Yeah. Yep.
And these are rates for the members of the firm, right?
Okay. Nothing else?
When we can capitalize the project, when we can capitalize your
Right,
fees.
there's that, and there's a little bit of some of our like plan reviews for hospital folks and things like that, those are sort of fixed fees. That gets reimbursed. We have inspection that actually gets reimbursed by the contractor typically. So a lot of those fees are reimbursed.
Something like the maps that you're working on still. And the studies that the mayor authorized of the problem intersections, those would be come out of the other operations amount?
Depending on what's category, some of it is just, it could be included in the retainer, something very basic. But most of it is, it does get covered in the
It's a special project.
It's a special project, right? If we did a study, it cost $10,000, the study would be authorized.
Okay. Thank you, Council. Thank you, Mr. Sheed. And if we end up with 5, and I don't know if you're able to attend next week, we didn't solicit you guys, but in case we did, I want to at this point extend a special expression of gratitude to the great work that you've done during this year. There's been a lot of big projects for the city, so thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we'll move on to ordinance 2025-26, which addresses, it's just on for first reading tonight. Council, I'm going to ask that when we're concluded with this evening's meeting, that we have a brief executive session regarding this ordinance, and that way we can, there's certain, because it deals with security measures, it's not for public discussion, but I'll be able to catch law director, police can catch you, and our new members of council who are able to make it tonight up on what this entails and why it's in front of you. Okay? So we'll move on to that. I don't know if there's much in the way of, just so the public knows. Steve, why don't you catch just a general comment regarding what this is?
Sure. The state has a requirement that the city adopt a cybersecurity policy. The village's insurance company is ahead of what the state has required because we have cyber coverage. And in order to have cyber coverage, we had to upgrade some of our security stuff. My understanding is Lieutenant Colbert is the lead guy on that technology stuff. He'll be able to talk circles around me in terms of how to protect I do know what two-factor authentication though is, so I got that going for me. But this is something that the state directs us to pass. Peter has to answer to the auditor if council doesn't adopt a cybersecurity policy. And so we will be doing it. They said that it should be done by the end of this year. And it really is not time sensitive because we've had the upgrades to our security already taken care of, which Lieutenant Colbert will be explaining. And that has to occur outside of public session. And the policy itself, under the statute that adopted it, says it's not a public record. So that's why it doesn't show up in the packets that go up to the public. So sorry about that.
Thank you, Tom. All right, council, so we'll consider that on for first reading. And we'll move on to our committees and department heads. I don't believe there have been any committee meetings. I don't know that any of the department heads need to respond. I do want to reflect, though, that on Thanksgiving, when we had really snap storm, and the council's aware, from about 2 in the afternoon until the next day, long into the next day, we had crews out plowing, salting, and I've gone around and thanked the individuals in the service department for their efforts on that holiday. But I want to publicly acknowledge the terrific work that these guys left their dinner tables to come in and do it. And of course, also to our safety forces who never get the Thanksgiving off and always have crews present for those days. But that's what they bought when they signed up. The service department, though, they rode those plows deep into the next day, and our appreciation. Next, I guess we have me. The one thing that I would encourage everyone, and I'm going to get a letter out to the community next week about it, is our holiday food drive is still ongoing for anyone who is unaware. And it's lagging, to be honest. We have a long way to go to reach our goal. The need is acute. There have been dramatic cutbacks in government support of the hungry. And I would encourage all of PIke to participate. If every person who receives our email contributed $10, we would have $30,000, and which would quadruple the roughly $8,000 we have in the bank now for it. So I would encourage everyone to do what they can to help people far less fortunate during this holiday season, so that they don't have to choose between turning on the heat and feeding their children. So thank you. Council, anything?
I have a quick question. I forgot to ask on the ordinance 2025-24, the budget for next year. I know it's only a budget, but the city hall renovations with the handicap access to improve our ADA access and the audiovisual equipment, it looks like there's only $150,000 appropriated for next year. Is that gonna be enough for everything? Because
I don't know, because we don't have a proposal.
right,
So that number can,
that can be fluid,
it all
right?
can shift
That can
and
shift.
increase, or we need to put a number in there. We had to, I thought it was very important.
Right.
I believe that this audiovisual needs to be much improved,
Yeah.
as you did.
Right.
And it needs to be scalable for what eventually does occur. And, but, yeah, that's,
Because it was difficult, like listening to the audiovisual from last week, it's hard to hear certain people if they're not near a
Right.
microphone, that sort of thing. So I don't know if $150,000 budgeted for that and improving our ADA access is enough for next year. Maybe we should bump that number up a little bit.
it's always,
I know
this
it's
budget
fluid.
is going to be looked at again
Yeah.
at the beginning of next year,
Okay,
because it does not contain the employee
Right.
contract numbers. So
Okay.
we know this document is coming up again.
I'd like to also ask that we try to consider some kind of even temporary means of remedying this access to the building, even if whatever we do to the building is 2 years or 3 years down the road. I think if we could find some temporary means of accommodating those who have difficulty in a better way than we do, and spend some amount of money and know that it's a temporary basis. I think that would be a good thing to do.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing.
I didn't think you would, but we've never talked about that, just doing something temporary, because we've always,
Yeah,
Kinda got
I
stuff.
thought of ramps coming
Yeah,
up
the
front,
ramps.
maybe.
But I thought,
I have no idea, but I
Yeah.
think that, we always have been thinking about this as some kind of a permanent solution, and then get stopped.
Well,
because
I want to emphasize, and I'm sympathetic to what you're saying, Mr. Gentile, but I want to emphasize that although, people don't consider it, adequate, we do have ADA access to this
Right,
building.
right.
And that, but I think we do need to, if there's something as an interim thing, that would be fine.
ADA is a minimum, and I know we're ADA compliant. We talked about that before, but make it, something to make it easier, because ADA, again, is a minimum standard.
Council, you've, Ms. Godek?
There was a discussion online about homeowners potentially being responsible for shoveling their walkways. So I know we've talked about this many times, but obviously like not everyone in the community is listening to all our meetings and listening to all reading the legislative history of our ordinances. So I would appreciate it if, single topic communication could come up from the city, just reiterating homeowners are not responsible
Will do.
for clearing their walkways,
We
just
will
like
we will
put
do
it to
that.
bed. Yeah, I think that would be really helpful.
We fixed that ordinance.
We fixed that.
In the last version, we fixed that.
Yeah, it was already, because of the manner in which we adopted doing the walkways done, but we have put a wooden stake through
Yes,
that
we did.
issue
Yes, we
with
did.
that last ordinance. So we will, I appreciate the suggestion and we will
Great.
communicate that.
Thank you.
Anything else? Audience, anything? And then we will move to executive session and ask, yes.
Richard Ferguson, 29200 Hidsdale Road. I do want to compliment the city on the Gates Mills Trail, the snow removal on that. That's a good job.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Barnes.
Yeah, Gerard Barnes, 29600 Shaker Boulevard. I'd like to compliment also, as Richard did, about the plowing on the Gatesville 41 Trail. I saw the plow, and it's pretty impressive how that works. So it's very nice, and we could use the Gatesville Trail during the winter time. But I also like, and I hope Mayor Bain would reiterate, the 3,000 gifts that the city came up with. Rachel Garrett and Tara Carlson and Jim Avent and the other service department, they did a commendable job, and they should be recognized for the amazing job that they did accumulating these gifts for the children. I think it's fantastic for our community to have these individuals organize these gifts for the needy children, and it's people like Rachel, Tara, Jim, and the service department that make Pepper Pike what it is today. Thank you.
Yeah, and I really appreciate that, Mr. Rogers, because it's my omission that I didn't bring that up. And I appreciate that you did. And I do appreciate the engagement of our own employees whose initiative created that program. But I also want to thank the residents of Pepper Pike who brought forward and responded to that outreach for there to be 3,000 gifts for children. It's marvelous.
3,000 gifts just from
No,
Pepper
that-
Pike
was it
or all together?
I don't know where that 3,000.
Yeah, that's- it's a lot.
There's it's a county program.
Okay.
We collected what was the equivalent of 2 pickup truckloads
Wow.
that we took down to the county facility, which is in the park for Old Brooklyn area.
We didn't count. There were a lot. We did a lot.
And so what they do is they supply for over 3,000 children in
Gotcha.
Broward County.
Ah,
So the amount, all the gifts that were given from our residents were just a piece of the big puzzle. And we went down on Friday to see the operation because I had never seen it. I didn't do it last year. And I was quite impressed at how much stuff is donated for all the kids in this. So every kid can have a Christmas.
So that's a wonderful clarification, and I appreciate that very much. Thank you. And All right, if that's it,
Bob Rice, 2445 Edgewood Trace. So follow on with the gifts. Good job. My favorite charity, Toys for Tots, is still collecting gifts. So made my run the other day. If you're so inclined, the Navy Federal Credit Union on Mayfield and Lander has collection boxes in the lobby. So #1 charitable toy giving organization in the world, actually. So I've been around since the early 50s. Started with Walt Disney as a partner with Marine Corps Reserve. So great program. Hats off to the mayor and staff and the mayor of Lyndhurst and staff, police chiefs, fire chiefs for the completion of the 271 exit at Cedar and Brainerd. So that project was brought together because the two cities came together with the chiefs, the mayors, the engineers, and identified a problem to ODOT that ODOT really didn't care to fix. NOACA didn't care to fix it. And these guys all went together and moved the express exit back about a mile and put actually a dedicated exit ramp and then doubled it as you get off and tripled it. And if you've ever, I'm sure people use it before and after, it's an amazing project, and it really is going to do great things for the safety of 271, of Lyndhurst, of Beechwood, of Mayfield Heights. It's and I said, my gosh, that we're out of orange cone season already with those guys. So they really did it quick, and they did a great job. So hats off to everybody on kicking ODOT into high gear on that one and getting it done. It's a game changer.
thank you for that acknowledgement. Appreciate it. I'm sure our chiefs and engineer were marvelous in their efforts to make sure this happened.
The value of partnership.
And with that, we will adjourn this meeting to executive session, but I need a motion to enter into an executive session pursuant to section 121.22G6 of the Ohio Revised Code to discuss details relative to the security arrangements and emergency response protocols for a public body or a public office if disclosure of the matters discussed could reasonably be expected to jeopardize the security of the public body or public office.
So moved.
I'd like you to recite that.
Secret stuff.
Ms. Bowman?
Yes.
Ms. Bowman?
Once they got the money and going, it was a quick project. Did a lot of very complicated.
Incoming council people to stay, and you can over, Chief Deeds.
Yeah. You're gonna, I mean, I'm just telling how the.